So what we're doing in this video is ignoring the second waiver claim that we had today. Matthew Phillips was claimed by the Washington Capitals and reassigned to the AHL, but that isn't really the claim that I wanted to focus on in this video. Instead, I wanted to talk about Joel Hanley, because he was claimed by the Calgary Flames from the Dallas Stars on waivers, and this could very well be seen as an extra addition to that Chris Tanev trade that we just saw a few days ago. Now, if you needed the scoop as to everything, I mean, this is a 3-team trade as displayed on CapFriendly because the third team was New Jersey. They did get involved and they got some salary on this entire thing. But, essentially, the Calgary Flames were able to get themselves Artyom Grushnikov, who is a pretty good defensively minded prospect from the Dallas system, a second-round pick, and a 2026 third that transfers if the Stars make it to the Stanley Cup Finals. It's a pretty regular kind of trade, I would say, and going over to Dallas, you had yourselves Chris Tanev. But part of the reason this Hanley acquisition on waivers makes sense to me is because you could realistically see this as just an extra piece of that Chris Tanev trade. This is because Joel Hanley is a 32-year-old left-handed defenseman, 5'11", 190 pounds, signed till the end of next year, making $700,000. And I'm not gonna lie, Hanley has honestly been a pretty alright player. Now, if you take a look at the points, you'll see pretty much nothing to write home about. 8 points in 35 games 3 years ago, 6 points and 2 goals in 44 games 2 years ago, 2 points last year, and 3 points this year in 32 games played. But realistically, Hanley has developed this reputation amongst Dallas Stars fans that is very positive. And in order to see this, all you gotta do is head over to the Stars subreddit and read what some of these commenters have to say. Thanks for your reliable play through the years, Joel. The Stars played you and scratched you, sending you up to the big leagues and down to Cedar Park. You were steadfast in your defensive positioning and an unsung hero on some great teams we've had. Joel scored 3 goals in his NHL career, all with the Dallas Stars, including a huge one to open the scoring in the 2020 Cup Finals. You will always be a Dallas Star, and we're rooting for you wherever you finish your career. With love, the Dallas Stars Galaxy. And then there's the so long partner from Woody from Toy Story. That is a pretty sentimental message, I'm not gonna lie. And pretty much with Hanley's position in the Dallas Stars lineup not really being guaranteed any given night, he was more so just a depth replacement level defenseman who was pretty good when he was in the lineup, but who was just kind of that, not really anything more. The fact that the Calgary Flames claimed this guy off of waivers makes a lot of sense when you consider that they may end up trading Hanifin too, and they may need some warm bodies on the blue line. And Hanley excels at that particular position. You could have just tossed Hanley into the trade at this rate, and yeah, that makes a lot of sense here. The Calgary Flames were 15th in the waiver order when Hanley hit the wire yesterday. If the Flames were in a position that made them likely to claim him, you would think that would have made that one of their negotiation points. But honestly, even if it wasn't, it's still okay, because it seems like Dallas Stars fans are just wishing this guy good luck. Best of luck to Hanley in Calgary, hope he sees some more consistent ice time out there. I will not change my flair, that's Joel Hanley on the picture right there. Part 2 of the Tanev trade. Sorry, that's where he's headed. That's gotta be a pretty rough transition for him and his family. Calgary Flames fan here. We desperately need him to fill a spot as a 6th defenseman. Is he good? He's fine as a 6th defenseman in a pinch. He can play either side, and he plays a pretty safe, unnoticeable game. He's solid, a little undersized, but solid until power forwards come a-knocking, and then there's another reply. He's not great as a 6th defenseman, much less a 5th. He's like, fine as a 6th defenseman. But there's also a reason his whole thing in Dallas has been the ideal 7th defenseman in the lineup. And essentially, the spare tire thing makes a lot of sense here. Someone said that Hanley is like a spare tire, great for emergencies, but if you use him for the entire journey, you're in trouble. This is probably going to be a more valuable player in Calgary than he was in Dallas the past few years, mostly because of the Flames' entire defense situation. We'd already talked about this in the trade video itself, but getting Artyom Grushnikov, getting Hunter Brustevich from the Elias Lindholm trade, getting all these younger defenders, and a guy in Hanley who could play pretty much extra time as a 32-year-old veteran, it seems to be a pretty streamlined defensive strategy for the Calgary Flames. Hanley, of course, being signed till next year also makes things good because that extra body is going to be there for a while. You already lost Tanev, you're probably going to lose out on Hanifin, you lost out on Zadorov too, so you're going to need extra players to fill in. And because of all these trades, you can recognize that the Calgary Flames probably are not in a position to wanting to contend right now anyway. I mean, they have been on a pretty big win streak as of late, but Jacob Markstrom, that guy could probably get traded anytime soon, so who knows how much the winning streak is going to last for Calgary. But even on the Flames side of things, they're talking about some of the same things here. Anybody is better than Jordan Oesterle at this point. I feel like last night, this was Osterley's chance to show Conroy that he didn't need to go looking for another defenseman once Hanifin got moved, and he kinda blew it. This is like an extra piece we got for Chris Tanev. That's exactly what I was thinking when I saw him get waived. Trying to build a defense core on the waiver wire here. Yeah, that sounds like the plan here. Maybe not the best idea in the world, but it works for what the Calgary Flames are trying to do. Dallas Stars fan here. You're going to love Joel Hanley. He's been our 7th defenseman for a couple of years now, and he always shows up and plays his darn heart out every time he gets the call. He's a consummate professional and a great teammate. We kinda knew it was coming, but we're still sad about it. Take care of him. We just acquired the Texas version of Michael Stone, and that's kind of funny the way they say that, eh? But yeah, there you go. That's some insight as to this entire thing here. They're all talking about Jordan Oesterle. That's kind of funny. But either way, if you wanted to isolate these two teams and the situation, it makes a lot of sense to say that Joel Hanley heading over to Calgary is pretty much an extra part of that Chris Tanev trade. He's not going to be the biggest needle mover in the world, but based off of his time in Dallas, the role that the Calgary Flames will have for him will most likely be fulfilled in a proper way, and you can maybe hope for a little bit more peace on that blue line, because, look, Hanley being better than Oesterle, that would make a little bit of sense in my opinion. He's not going to be an everyday guy, but even if he is, the Calgary Flames are kind of preparing to weather that storm by losing out on more of their top defensemen. And honestly, with a defense core like this, you talk about Anderson, Weegar, Shillington, Gilbert, what do you got? Hanley in there, Paschal, not Oesterle because people don't like him. It's gonna be pretty rough heading into the next few weeks here of Dallas Stars, of Calgary Flames hockey, but hey, anything to get a better draft position, right? So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below if you're a Dallas Stars fan or a Calgary Flames fan. What are your thoughts on Hanley heading over to Calgary on waivers? Do you think this could be seen as pretty much just an extra defenseman picked up from that Flames Tanev trade? And do you think that the Calgary Flames are more so in a position to use this kind of strategy to build for next year and beyond? Hanley, being an extra guy, is definitely valuable, but he's not like the most important player in the world, hence why he was waived in the first place. At the end of the day, though, the Stars are losing out on a fan favorite. The Flames are getting one that can help them out once Hanifin gets traded. Hanifin out, Hanley in, right? That kind of sounds great. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below about this waiver claim. I hope you enjoyed this video. And bye.